Welcome back to Just One Question. Fans of the show will note that I'm back in my office in the Boston area after a brief foray into Vermont. And it's great to be back. And what better way to start up the Return to Boston segment of Just One Question than to welcome a longtime Cambridge resident, Janine Hamner Holman, to the show. Janine is an organizational development consultant, which is a mouthful, but she works on issues which you will recognize as central to your business or organizational experience these days. Change management, yes, hello. Emotional intelligence, absolutely. Diversity, equity, and belonging, it's about time. And conscious leadership. And I must confess, I'm a little curious about that latter, but maybe we'll get to that. Maybe we won't, and then you'll have to look her up and ask her yourself. So, Janine, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, Nick. I'm very happy to be here with you. And the honest truth is, I'm tired. I've been doing a lot of traveling and working with different clients, which is both wonderful and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be back in person and exhausting.
Mhm.
So I'm actually taking a recovery day for myself, but wanted to have the opportunity to get on here and chat a little with you. So
Well,
thanks for that.
yeah, thanks for doing it. And I completely understand the prospect of this hybrid world that we're living in, which can mean the virtual work and the in-person work. And
Right?
as in my case, it just suddenly started picking up again at a really accelerated rate. So everybody's going back in person, at least for now. And that is a change, and it is exhausting to get used to again. So thanks for making the time despite the fatigue.
You're
And
very welcome.
and it's only fair then to ask you, what are you excited about? What is floating your boat these days, or what is for you the most fascinating aspect of this world we're in now, with the post pandemic, perhaps hybrid, perhaps world?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I am the most excited about is this transition that we are in. And one of, in everything where there are challenges, there are also always upsides. And this period through the pandemic and through organizations figuring out how to work in new ways and people getting really clear on what's important to them and what they're willing to put up with and what they're not.
Mm,
We are in this period of what's being called the great resignation, the great reshuffling, the great whatever. And one of the things that's happening is that both employees and organizational leaders and organizational managers are realizing the importance of a lot of the things that you and I often are talking about around leadership, around growth mindset and emotional intelligence, and the opportunity and the possibility for real listening and what
mm,
that creates. And so getting that opportunity to work with a lot of organizations and helping to distinguish that with them, pour that into with them has been really exciting.
mm. Wonderful. So, as is often the case, I can't resist one follow-up question because we have, I know, at least another minute or two, and you've got the day off. You told me that was your
That's right.
confession. So yeah, um, so the you mentioned it being tired for you for tiring for the work you're doing,
Yes.
and then of course, as you implied, it is a time of ferment and change and people trying to figure it out. And I was talking to um, uh, an employee, an executive of a company just today, and she was talking about how odd it was to be in a chain of command. So she has people to manage, and she has a boss, um,
Yep.
and the dynamics of it are such that when she goes into the office, it's specifically now just to have meetings. either with clients in her organization or outside, or the occasional meeting with some of her employees or with their boss. But there's no longer a sense of office sort of ongoing camaraderie
Hmm.
and just daily process.
Yeah.
To go into the office now has become a special thing. It's to go to a particular meeting. And so I'm just curious if you have any early intelligence on what is that going to do to the workplace in the long run if we think of it as rather than a place where we automatically go and have routines and relationships that get renewed regularly and in small ways and sometimes in large ways versus a place where we go just on occasion to have a specific event or a specific a meeting. What's that going to do to organizations?
I think what it's going to do and what it is already doing is that organizations and organizational leadership are having to become much more conscious about this amorphous thing called culture and what is important to us about how we work, about how we treat each other, about how we work with clients, about how we treat our clients, whether we're a municipality and our clients are residents, or whether we're a business and our clients are the people who buy our goods or services.
Mm-hmm.
We all have clients in some sort of way. And so we are having to get much more conscious about what our mission is, what our vision is, what our values are. And as I was talking with an organization about just last Friday, so many organizations are led to do things like put up a poster on the wall that says leadership and some great words about leadership, and then everybody climbing a mountain. And those become less important when we're not going to a place. And I would posit that those have never been important and are often not helpful, because what's really important about leadership, if that's something that actually does matter in your organization, is what's the lived experience
Mm.
of leadership and really making that operational. And so organizations are called to, at this point, really figure out, so we say integrity. What does that mean for us? And what does it mean in how we work together and how we treat each other and how we treat our clients, and getting really explicit about that? Because otherwise, there's going to be an enormous erosion of the things that actually make work the most meaningful
Mm-hmm.
for employees. And it's one of the things that's happening in this great resignation, is that companies are having to figure out essentially, like, how do we market to our own people about what's important to us? Because that is the biggest thing that actually matters to the millennials and Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're among the large group of people who like to throw shade on those generations, the reality is in just 2.5 years, the millennials the oldest millennials are right now 41.
Wow, really?
So they're not kids anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the millennials and the Gen Zs coming after them will be 75% of our workforce.
Mm.
So if you haven't decided to care about what millennials care about, now is the time.
Fantastic. A great reminder. I love that. And the larger point you're making too is absolutely right. Is what is the what are the real values that you stand for, and beyond the posters,
Yeah.
um, what uh, what does that look like, and what does that feel like? And this whole pandemic has felt like a real testing case,
Yep.
uh, a test case for that reason. So really thoughtful words from Janine Hamner Holman, everybody. Thank you so much for taking your rest day to talk to us. I appreciate it. I hope you get recharged and go back out there and go back to work in those organizations, because I think I'm beginning to get some sense of what conscious leadership looks like and and needs to look like, and it seems really important. So thank you for sharing your time with us.
You're most welcome. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it is helping to recharge me. So thanks on all levels.